Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the first of 4 half-term reports. In these videos, I'm, as ever, going to give my honest and frank view on how each team and driver has performed to this point in the season and what they need to do for the rest of the year, and of course, I'll grade them as well. Those grades will run from A to F and are based on what they have achieved so far in 2018 versus what was expected of them at the start of the season. So, for example, a driver in the midfield who has had an impressive year, exceeded expectations and perhaps even outperformed their car, could well end up with a grade higher than a championship contender. And a quick disclaimer, as ever, these are just my views and my opinions, so feel free to let me know yours in the comment section down below. I'm going to run in reverse championship order, so today it's all about Williams, Sauber and Toro Rosso. Let's kick things off with Williams then, and it's been a torrid first half of the season for the team so far, and I think that's an understatement. And to be fair, that's pretty much against what many of us believed through the winter. Of course, we didn't expect that they were going to suddenly be up there fighting for top 3 or anything like that. But with the arrival of Paddy Lowe, I, for one, certainly expected a damn sight more from that team. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on that. I mean, the car is awful, and it doesn't look as though that is going to go about a miraculous change anytime soon. In fact, if Williams have got any sense at all, they would already be working towards 2019, although Claire Williams has insisted they won't write off this season just yet. They've picked up just 4 points so far in 2018, courtesy of Lance Stroll in Baku. And to add some context to that, after 12 rounds in 2017, they had 44 points. Now, of course, yes, they had a vastly more experienced driver on board in Felipe Massa, and obviously that car was substantially better too. But still, that is a huge difference, given that they have allegedly strengthened with the arrival of Paddy Lowe. The fact is, though, whoever gets the blame and whatever the reasons, this is the team's worst start to a season since 2013, and quite frankly, it is simply not good enough. Now, whether people like it or not, what isn't helping is that lack of experience in their driver lineup. Yes, Lance Stroll has got a year of experience under his belt, but in terms of an F1 race seat drive, that is it between both drivers. And with all due respect to Robert Kubica as well, their test driver hasn't driven an F1 car in anger since 2010. Many believe that if he was given a race seat, he would do better than Stroll and Sirotkin, but I think even a driver of Robert Kubica's ability is going to struggle to do much with that car. Look, I get that they needed that money to survive. But with the way things are, how are they going to turn things around? They need some experience. And when it comes to money, what sponsor is going to want to stick their name on a car that trundles around at the back of the grid? And to give you some idea as to how bad things are, even Lance Stroll, the guy who brings the big bucks, wants out of that team. Williams are in big trouble, they really are. And as much as I've slammed them this year, I genuinely do worry for them, and I don't want to see them fall off the grid. When it comes to the drivers, it really is hard to rate how they've done so far this year. As I've said, the car is shockingly bad, and so they were always going to struggle this year regardless of experience. So all I can really do is compare their qualifying lap times versus each other, and in all honesty, there's not really a lot in it. Yeah, alright, there are some race weekends where the gap is fairly large, but for the vast majority there have been a matter of just 1 or 2 tenths between them. But given that it's his first season, I would probably argue that Sirotkin has been slightly more impressive for me than Lance Stroll. As for the grades, I can't give the team any more than a rock bottom F. I really can't. Sergei Sirotkin, he gets a D, as does Lance Stroll. And the reasons behind that are simply that both drivers have been very evenly matched, and they are doing the best that they can with the car that they've got. I did say a moment ago that Sirotkin has edged it for me, but Stroll has picked up the team's only points so far this season, and so it wouldn't really be right to give him a lower grade. On to Sauber then, and I'd be lying if I said I expected them to do as well as they have so far this year. Now, obviously, with Alpha investment and the current spec Ferrari engine, there was always going to be some improvement on 2017, but they have been one of the big surprises this year. They've already racked up a total of 18 points, which is more than their last 2 seasons combined, and are only 18 shy of their 2015 points tally. The car and the team as well seem to have been improving almost race on race this year, and they are well involved in that midfield scrap. I mean, how many times this year have we seen Leclerc and Alonso go toe-to-toe on track? It feels like it's a constant fight. It's also looking incredibly likely that they will finish at least 9th this year, and with the way that car is improving, you could argue that they will be in a fight for 8th place. And there is still just shy of half a season to go. Really impressed with Sauber this year. Charles Leclerc has been an absolute revelation in 2018. I mean, we expected he would be good, but the way he's performed this season is staggering considering it's his first year in the sport. He's already grabbed 5 points finishes, and that's seen him rack up 13 points, and he finished a very impressive 6th place in Baku. He has also comfortably outperformed his far more experienced teammate Marcus Ericsson, who himself has had a pretty decent first half to the season. Obviously, with the car being far better than it was in 2017, you could argue that he was always going to have a better season. But he looks happier, he looks more comfortable, and on the track he has impressed me a lot more than I expected he would this year. Marcus has had 3 points finishes so far and has got 5 points on the board, and that is 5 more than he has scored in the last 2 seasons. As for the rest of the year, well, the team and drivers have just got to keep doing what they're doing. Leclerc looks set for a move to Haas or perhaps even Ferrari next year, so continuing to deliver consistency is only going to see his stock rise. And Ericsson just needs to try and close that gap to his teammate. I don't see him as under pressure. Aside from anything else, he's got a lot of money and a lot of backers in that team. But he still needs to pull out the performances to get closer to Leclerc. As you'll have seen, I've given the team a B, and that might be a tad low in all honesty. Had Marcus Ericsson been better, that would probably be higher. Charles Leclerc, I've got to give him an A. You know, it's his rookie season, some brilliant driving, and although he had a shaky start to the year, the maturity he showed to deal with that and turn it around is hugely impressive for such a young driver. And for Marcus Ericsson, I've gone with a C. Yes, he has improved drastically this year, but he has still been well beaten by his rookie teammate, and regardless of how much talent Leclerc has, I can't ignore that. And finally for this part, it's Toro Rosso, and I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a tad smug about this one. Let me explain. I took a lot of stick from 1 or 2 people over the winter when I predicted that Toro Rosso would be a surprise, and despite the Honda engine, would be in and around where they were last year. Bizarrely, I was even accused, despite the fact it was just an opinion, of misleading the channel's viewers, and one even asked me to apologise. No chance. Yet, here we are. This time last year, they sat 7th in the Constructors' Championship with 40 points. Now they have 28 points and sit 8th. Yes, that is fewer points and 1 position lower in the championship, but given the cataclysmic season some were predicting them to have, that is massively impressive. And had Hartley stepped up and performed as well as teammate Gasly, hell, half as well as teammate Gasly, they could well be matching or even beating last year, so forgive me for my smugness, but as you'll know, I'm not often right on these things, so I will enjoy it. Pierre Gasly has by far been their standout performer, and although I rated him highly and expected him to have a very good year, even I'm surprised at how good he's actually been. His drive in Bahrain to 4th was exceptional, and last time out in Hungary he was equally as impressive. He has comfortably outperformed his teammate and deserves all the credit he's getting at the moment. 26 points on the board, and I can see him grabbing a few more as the season goes on. What it is worth noting though, is that those points have come from just 3 points finishes, so perhaps the real pace of that car is somewhat flattered by the points they've picked up at those 3 races. But still, far better than most predicted. Brendan Hartley, on the other hand, well, he's been very poor this year. Yes, he has had his share of bad luck, but he's made a lot of mistakes as well. He's got just 2 points compared to Gasly's 26. He's also been well beaten in qualifying too. And quite frankly, that is just not good enough. He is one of those drivers on the grid under big pressure, and if he doesn't step up, that pressure is just going to obviously continue to build. Will he get dropped? Well, yeah, I think he will for 2019, but honestly, unless the team can land a Norris or a Russell, I don't see them dropping him before the end of the season. Although, if there is a shuffle of that driver market after the conclusion of the Force India saga, a driver may well come available that tempts the team. It is only a C for the team, pretty much because, like I said earlier, I feel their points tally is somewhat exaggerated by some very impressive performances from Gasly, and to be perfectly honest as well, I feel like they could have done more at some races. And obviously that grade would have been higher had Hartley got it together and delivered this year. Gasly gets a B+ for all of the reasons I've said in this video, but for Hartley, I just can't go higher than an E. That is it for part 1 of the half-term report series, and as I said at the start of the video, they were just my views and my opinions on Williams, Sauber and Toro Rosso, but what are yours? How would you grade those 3 teams and their drivers, and who has really surprised you so far in 2018? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will be back on Saturday at 2 PM UK time with part 2 of the series, where I'll be looking at McLaren and Force India. And don't forget to join us this Sunday evening for our usual weekly live stream. In the meantime though, you can follow me on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.